completely overhauled. It's time to head out of bounds. First off, what's the point of going out of bounds?
Okay.
How does it save time? Well, the main advantage is it lets you drive across the map while it's not loaded in. You can go in a straight line without needing to turn or slow down at all. And level 7 is perfect for this because most
So this is what I'm gonna be playing.
go all the way across the map.
Niwa.
Pick up waste on one side and drop it off on
There it
the
is.
other. Next
So I have
question
4%.
is, how do you get out of bounds? Well, in
Alright,
October
this
2018, Liquid Wi-Fi found this method. It looks
I don't know if
great,
this is harder than
but
Kata or not. I checked audio,
essentially grip onto vertical walls
audio, whatever, right?
so by crashing into the
And
Liquid's car
it says it's
almost
easier than Cataclysm,
hit the
but
vertical wall.
I don't know.
There, he simply drove up the invisible part and made it over. He later found
I'll
the
see what
more
like the community has said.
the car's
I don't know if this is either going to be first or second hardest because it's definitely harder than Aku.
From there, it was over for level 7. DJ Lambton found an out-of-bounds setup for 7.3 that involved climbing the walls of the power plant. Vapo found a similar setup for 7.5. And then Liquid found another in 7.7. And before they knew it, more than half of level 7's missions had an out-of-bounds. Combined, they saved more than a minute. But they weren't easy to pull off, especially given that they're at the very end of an hour-and-a-half long run. If you mess these up, there goes your whole speedrun. But Liquid felt he was up to the task. He began chipping away at his world record with these new tricks. Every few weeks he got a new improvement, first getting a 127 and eventually a 126. Ironically, even though new
Oh, I'm
tricks often
crazy.
lead to
Alright.
new competition, level 7 out of bounds actually had the opposite effect. Liquid was the only runner with good consistency at them, so he was able to better implement them, and his world record lead only increased. It was now up to a whopping 4.5 minutes. His run of
I remember
126.23
trying this
was the
and
first
it
to hit
never
all
got anywhere.
4 out of bounds in level 7, and that was enough to satisfy Liquid. He got all the big tricks and had an enormous lead over second place. What else did he ask for? I mean, maybe he'd come back if more out of bounds were discovered, like a second wave or something. But there
Okay,
was no
so
way that could happen.
that was pretty easy.
Couldn't stop now. In mid-2019, he helped find another set of out of bounds in level 7. This time, he was going to be out of bounds for nearly the entire level. It's a pretty involved route, but the most interesting part starts from 7.5. Liquid put the waste in a traffic car, then left it and hopped back in a sports car he had waiting out of bounds.
This is
He
fucking
then
hard.
quickly drove straight to the
But let
school,
me
and
speed
the
hack to
waste
learn it.
magically appeared there. How? Well, since the game can only have 5 traffic cars loaded
Fucking
at
hell.
once, it simply duplicates the traffic car with the waste as one of the 5. So, once it shows up by the school, it's perfectly cloned from before, waste and all. Liquid then simply got in the traffic car and completed the mission. Finally, in 7.6, he drove to the power plant out of bounds while being careful
What?
not to load in any
What is the
parking.
fucking timing,
Then
bro?
he did an e-brake boost to make it past the bridge, collected the waste, and drove back to the school out of bounds. This 7.6
This shit is
strategy was
hard.
found by Barcode and was huge because now you could avoid the painfully difficult 7.7 out of bounds. The new route was about a minute faster than before, so Liquid knew what he had to do next: get back to the record grind. In June 2019, he rattled off 4 records like it was nothing, achieving the first ever 124. Then in September, he came back and took
84
another
so
one.
for them
He
fucking
implemented all the tricks
thingy.
into his
Alright,
route
now we'll
and
do
grinded it down to
0.6.
123.37. He was
Bro, can I
still
fucking-
in first place by a mile, with no other runners in sight. This was getting ridiculous.
This is how I learn levels personally. I don't know if it's the fastest way.
And with nothing left to prove here, he once again moved on to other games and categories. And it was during that break that something amazing happened.
Why is that
Something
happening?
that hadn't occurred
Why do I
before.
got time to guess?
An event that people weren't sure was possible anymore. In early 2020, Liquid Wi-Fi got a competitor. This is Bacon Man. He started running the game about a year ago, and he had a meteoric rise, quickly becoming the best runner not named Liquid Wi-Fi. But he always remained comfortably behind him,
Alright.
Not a threat to his world record.
0.7.
And suddenly, in late 2019, he started improving again. His 126 became a 125, and then a 124 by January 2020.
Now I'm like getting the
This was
quick
the
button.
first time that anybody had been within a minute of liquid Wi-Fi. And interestingly, Bacon Man was already 43 seconds behind after level 2. Across the final 5 levels, he only lost 12 seconds to liquid Wi-Fi. And in the final 2 levels, he actually gained time. Bacon Man was the first person to approach liquid Wi-Fi's level. He wasn't quite there yet, but he was clearly on a collision course. Maybe this was it. A new era of hit-and-run speedrunning was finally approaching. One with actual competition at the top level. Nope. New world record from Liquid. New world record from Liquid. New world record from Liquid.
Yes, we did!
New world record from Liquid. New world record from Liquid. Hey, some new strategies at level 7. New world record from Liquid. New world record from Liquid. New world record from Liquid. This just kept going. He was still the king, squashing any threat from other runners. And by the end of the year, the record was down to an unthinkable 120-20. He was making a mockery of the leaderboard. This was 36 consecutive world records from Liquid Wi-Fi, and the record had become very optimized. He was running out of time to save. But before he quit the game forever, Liquid Wi-Fi still wanted to get one more record. The ultimate time in the Simpsons hit and run. We're talking about the sub 120. All of Liquid's
I might die to that timing at the end.
domination, it all led up to this. This would be his crowning achievement. But it was not easy. He needed to find a way to save 21 seconds over his current world record. And most of that potential time save was in the first 2 levels. Level 1 had some recent new strategies, like using the Plow King in 1-3 and the Bush strat in the tutorial. There was also a really cool new one in 3-7. By pushing the limo to a precise spot, then calling in Mr. Plow.
This is like the speed I'm learning parts of
And
that.
the limo is instantly
I'm literally about to get
These time
like
saves
84
were
to
really
100. I'm not focusing.
Liquid's goal was to build some kind of a lead after level 2, then maintain it as best he could until the end. And maybe that would be good enough for sub 120. In early 2021, Liquid embarked on his journey. On March 5th, he got a run with the start he was looking for. A 16-second lead after level 2. He maintained his lead through level 3, then he entered level 4. 4-7 is one of the most important missions in the run. You have to destroy 3 cola trucks as fast as possible, and each one has its own unique strategy. If you miss a quick kill, you could lose big time, and potentially even lose the run. Liquid entered the cola trucks mission with an 18-second lead, and it went beautifully. He nailed all 3 quick kills and took a 23-second lead into level 5.
Bro,
Things were
why is it so hard?
but now we had another crucial mission coming up, the armored truck. On this golden opportunity, he had to get the strat.
Yes, this is definitely sufficed. You caught me. 100%. Alright, that'll work.
He nailed it again. Liquid now had a 27-second lead. This was sub 120 pace with 2 levels to go. Level 6 had a clean start, but then in 6-6, mistakes began to creep in.
That is not far from Oops. Okay, well that's gonna make it cycle. Very nice. I'd like to stop losing time.
There we go.
It's
84 to 100.
15 seconds.
There we go.
It
First-
still had
first,
sub
like,
120 potential,
you know,
but now there
run.
was no margin for error. And with the pressure fully on, he had to hit all of level 7 out of bounds. 7-2
Bro,
went well.
what am I
as he
playing?
7-4. This was alive. Liquid was on sub 120 pace. 3 more missions. Whatever he did now, just don't blow up the waste.
Sub 120 is dead.
This was such a tricky spot. You have to get enough speed to get the front of the car to bounce up, but too much speed and the waist explodes, which is exactly what happened.
I see why someone put a stopwatch here. This is difficult as shit.
Finished as a 120.05. The grind continued for weeks. Liquid kept getting runs to level 7, but he messed up and out of bounds missions every time. It's so tough when the hardest part of the speedrun is right at the end. Liquid pushed onwards, and a few weeks later, he got another shot. This one again had a good start, despite some minor slowdowns. The cola trucks went well, and now for perhaps the most important mission in the run, the armored truck.
That should work.
A car tried to prevent it, but Liquid still managed to trap the truck. He had a 3-second lead with time to save in level 7. Once again, this had sub 120 potential. First step, get 7-2 out of bounds.
0.6.
Please go. Please make it. Okay, that's fine.
It was sketchy, but it worked. He also got 7-4 out of bounds, but his lead was only 4 seconds. Not enough for sub 120. But he had time to save in 7-5.
0.
If he could avoid blowing up the waste again.
Get up. Get up.
He did it. Liquid pulled further ahead, closed out the last 2 missions, and beat the game in sub 120. It was pure elation for a man who devoted his past 4 years to this game. This was the run he'd been dreaming of. All 38 world records had built up to this, and Liquid Wi-Fi had finally made it. He'd done everything he'd wanted with all story missions, and this was the end of the road. For the first time in many years, Liquid stopped playing the category. He moved on to other ones, with his sub 120 as his crowning achievement. Meanwhile, Liquid's top competitors were still well behind. Bacon Man was the closest with a low 121, and nobody else had below a 123. These guys weren't really considered world record contenders, so there wasn't much hope of beating Liquid's 118. But maybe, given
Game is
enough
so
time,
loud, bro. Nah, I'm not
somebody
playing
could
with
rise
audio.
up to compete. Well, let's jump a year later. Barely anything had changed. Bacon Man had lowered his time by 12 seconds, and that was about it. No world record threats in sight. And it was now the longest standing world record in modern hit and run history. Liquid was one of a kind. Others simply couldn't do what he could. And if he wasn't running the category, the world record was staying put. By mid-2022, he hadn't played all story missions in a year and a half. Unprecedented for him. It had been part of his identity for years, and now he had given it up. Liquid took a step back and evaluated what he wanted to do. He already had the 119, the ultimate hit and run world record, and yet he missed playing it. Liquid evaluated his options. He looked at his world record of 119 and said, alright, fine, one more minute. In Liquid's mind, the 119 was about the achievement, while a 118 would be about the optimization. He'd gotten even better over the last year and a half, and felt there was another minute he could squeeze out of the run. But where? Well, let's examine his 119. There were only a couple of big time losses. In 2.7, he got bad traffic that cost him 10 seconds. And in 5.6,
Wait, let me like
he wasted a bunch of
practice
time
the
by forgetting
pre-drop
which
because
course
I don't actually know what I'm doing.
but with cleaner execution, there were small chunks of time he could save all over. He missed items in level 3, certain destruction missions could be a bit faster, his out of bounds were a bit slow. When adding this all up across the run, it came out to over a minute of time save. 118 was technically viable, but this was going to take a monumental effort. His 119 was already an incredible run. He'd have to duplicate it and capitalize on all the time save. This was the sort of thing he'd chip away at over time, rather than get all in one shot. Or maybe I'm a big dummy.
Oh my god, what is this pace? Oh my god, what the heck?
gotten everything, all the time save he was hoping for. If he could now play a clean level 7, he'd get a 118 right here, right now. This was the highest pressure level 7 of his life. The first mission is inbounds, and it went just fine. Next up, the 7-2 E-break boost. He had to make it out of bounds here.
No! Interna.
He hit the corner of the Krusty Burger roof. It was enough to kill 118. He had to go out of bounds in 7-3 instead, costing him serious time. Liquid went on to hit the rest of the out of bounds and got a small world record, 119.45. But most importantly, he got a small taste of what could be. If he had hit the 7-2 out of bounds, this run very well could have been the 118. Perhaps getting it all in one shot was just too much to ask for. Instead, he was going to have to grind this out the traditional way. On September 15th, he had a run even with the record after level 4. A great spot to be in. But in level 5, the time losses began. He had a slow 5-4, and in 5-5, a car got in the way of the truck so it couldn't turn on the expressway. Level 7 mostly went well, but he initially messed up the 7-5 out of bounds. It ended as a world record by 10 seconds, 119.35. Weeks later, he had another solid start. A gold split in level 3 pushed him even with the record, and he was able to capitalize on a level 5 time save. 7-2 went well, 7-5 went well, and then he messed up 7-6. Another small world record, but Liquid was struggling to get a clean level 7. On December 20th, he made it there again. This time he was faster through level 4, but got unlucky in level 5. Level 7 started beautifully. And then...
I thought I got stuck on the wall.
another failed out of bounds, and another small world record. Liquid just couldn't get the level 7 he needed. Something always went wrong. But fortunately,
I'm gonna get a different star pause. I need
around the
one
end of the
more.
year, another wave of new strategies were developed. The entirety of level 4 was rerouted, buying the inmate outfit sooner and changing which coins you pick up. And a runner named Bedge found a time save in 4-3 to collect the last ketchup packet quicker. But the biggest new strategy came in the final mission of the game, 7-7 Jump Zone, found by an annoying hamster. By parking your car in a precise spot, then exiting and re-entering it, the car gains jump zone properties. This gives it unlimited top speeds and bouncy physics. It allows you to quickly climb the power plant wall after collecting the waste, then drive out of bounds to the end. A 20 to 25 second time save. So now Liquid had a bit more time to work with, but if he couldn't get a clean level 7, it didn't matter. On January 8th, he got another record of 119.19. It had a good level 7, but a slower levels 3 and 5. He needed that level 7 on a faster pace. And on January 30th, he'd get that faster pace. Liquid had a 16-second lead. He had another shot. If he could get a clean level 7 now, this was 118. And things were looking good. He got 7-2, he got 7-4, he got 7-5, and he got 7-6. One more green split, and Liquid would have a 118. But Liquid didn't get a green split in 7-7. He got a gold split, his fastest 7-7 ever.
Yes! Oh my god! Finally! Let's go!
After 2 years, Liquid had found another minute to squeeze out of Simpson's hit and run, above and beyond what anyone thought was possible. His hours of being stuck in level 1, his repeated fails in level 7, it all finally paid off. Liquid Wi-Fi had the 118, making more than 40 world records in a row, and his leaderboard dominance had only grown. Now, he could celebrate and move on to the game's other categories once again. With the
Where did
comfort
600
he
attempts
was
go? Oh, it's
done
probably from
all
practice
three
running this.
missions. But his comfort didn't last long, because while he was still celebrating, just hours after his 118, something happened. Something to make Liquid just a little unsure of himself. Later that same day as Liquid's 118, a player named Homer of Steel became the second ever person to get a sub 120. Homer of Steel played a lot of hit and run growing up. He always loved it and poured countless hours into the game. But in 2021, he found Liquid Wi-Fi's Twitch stream and became obsessed with learning the speedrun. It was a story like so many who start speedrunning. He found a speedrun of a childhood game and wanted to see if he could do it too. But Liquid's dominance of the leaderboard was intimidating. 6 years on top, 45 consecutive records. How could anybody ever catch up? But Homer of Steel kept lowering his time, and as he got closer, Liquid's times began to seem a bit more realistic. On January 30th, he took his PB straight from a high 121 to a 119.53. He was 23 seconds behind the record after level 2, and then lost another 30 seconds in level 7. But in levels 3 through 6, more than half of the run, Homer of Steel only lost 4 seconds to Liquid. If he could improve at the level 7 out of bounds, maybe he could finally be the person to challenge Liquid for the world record. It took a huge grind for Homer of Steel to get the sub 120, and he took a break for a few months after this. But in May, he came back, determined to try and close the minute gap between himself and Liquid. Everything was in position for him to make a run at the world record, and he actually had a decent chance at pulling this off. But instead, right after he began playing, a new strategy was found that changed everything.
Assignment helps your team manage any kind of work. Try it for free.
This is the 5-3 Baby Van. You need to hit it 10 times to collect 10 objects, similar to several other missions in the run. But the Baby Van has one key difference. It has a 50-50 chance of either driving normally or driving all over the place in a crazy pattern. With normal driving, you can trap the car in the corner and get a quick kill. But with tilted driving, this is nearly impossible, so you had to chase it down and hit it 10 times normally. This often cost a full half minute. For years, it was just a random coin flip. You either got lucky or your run was pretty much over. But in June 2023, Homer of Steel modified a new strategy originally developed by a runner named Vapo. See, the Baby Van mission won't start unless your vehicle is the car built for Homer. So, you buy the car, then exit and reselect the mission to spawn in with your old car. By then waiting to call in the car built for Homer until you're right next to the Baby Van, the mission will start and you can immediately ram the Baby Van before it gets away. This was huge for the speedrun. Now, regardless of which pattern the Baby Van gave, you could always get the quick kill. No more having to throw away half of your runs. Easily one of the biggest discoveries in hit and run history. And it led to a flurry of activity like the game had never seen before. On June 24th, Homer of Steel had a brilliant pace midway through the game. All the big missions had gone well, including the 3 cola trucks in 4-7. The new Baby Van strat worked perfectly, and he capitalized on a big time save in 5-7. After a good level 6, he was actually ahead of the world record. It was about to happen so soon. If he could hold it together for one more level, he was about to dethrone Liquid Wi-Fi. And then... he missed a cutscene skip. We haven't seen this happen in several years. It's such an easy trick compared to the rest of the run, but under immense pressure, it's still possible to miss it. He lost 45 seconds, and then proceeded to play an excellent level 7, finishing with a 119.19. The missed cutscene skip ended up making all the difference. He was just one relatively easy trick from taking down Liquid. But Homer of Steel wasn't the only player trying. Later the same week as his run, 2 more players achieved sub-120s of their own.
190, there we go.
12 Kelvin and Bacon Man, veteran runners who had long been just a bit behind Liquid on the leaderboard, got runs clocking in at 119.56 and 119.57. The new Baby Van strat had revolutionized the run, and coincided with runners making a big push to lower their PBs. activity. It had gotten lonely at the top after all these years, and he was excited to see multiple new record contenders. He also made the decision to hold off on playing more all-story missions until somebody beat his world record. It'd be more fun for him to play from behind. So, now it was inevitable that his world record streak was about to come to an end. It was a race to see who would pull it off first. On July 1st, Kelvin swooped into second place with a 1:19.10.
Oh my god. What? Holy
This run fell 20 seconds behind the record after level 3, but from there he matched it all the way to the end. A few days later, Homer of Steel fired back with a 6-second PB of his own. At this point, these guys were saving substantial time in level 7 compared to Liquid's world record. Both Kelvin and Homer of Steel have been grinding it as an IL to try and get a sub 8, so their execution at each out of bounds got really fast. Later in August, Homer of Steel had a run that pulled ahead in level 3 thanks to a very fast destruction mission. However, he had some slowdowns in level 5, including missing the new baby van strat. With one level to go, he was 3 seconds behind the world record, but he knew he could beat Liquid's level 7. He had to learn from his mistakes in past runs and apply all his skills right now. Homer of Steel's final time, 1:18.48, a new world record by 3 seconds. This was the first time since May 2017 that Liquid wasn't the record holder. Over that period, he'd taken the time down by 14 minutes, more than 6 years of constant domination. All reigns come to an end eventually. Homer of Steel's achievement was lauded by the community. It was surreal to see a new name on top of the leaderboard. So, what was Liquid's response? Was he interested in playing? Well, everything quieted down for a few months. Nobody was sure if Liquid was planning to come back, or if he was just done with the category. Homer of Steel's record was great, but it did have room for improvement, especially on the baby van. And under the pressure of world record pace, he didn't play level 7 as aggressively as he could have either. But even though there was some time saved, the community stayed quiet. Nobody wanted to make a move. Finally, in late 2023, activity picked up again. A massive push for the world record. What we've had over the last year of hit-and-run speedrunning is a battle like we've never seen in the game's history.
iPhone 17 Pro. Most powerful iPhone ever. If they want to say. Save up to full.
Bro, the consistency is actually alright. I'm not gonna lie.
Three contenders began playing for the world record, each one formidable in their own way. The first contender was the current record holder, Homer of Steel. Even though he held the record, he wanted to hang on to it and begin his own long-lasting reign. The second contender was Liquid Wi-Fi. He knew the record left time on the table and felt that with his experience, he'd be the one to save it. The third contender was Kelvin. He contended for the record right alongside Homer of Steel, and although he was narrowly beaten out, Kelvin felt he had what it took to get it. That's 3 contenders, the record holder, the past champion, and the up-and-comer. It seemed like Liquid and Homer of Steel were the 2 favorites, given that they'd actually held the record before, but as the runs played out, Kelvin was looking pretty good. On December 30th, Kelvin had a decent run going, but had a very slow first bullet run destruction. Luckily, he could save time over the record's baby van, and he capitalized on it. His pace was very close with the record, and by the time he reached level 7, he was just a few seconds behind. If he could play a bit more aggressively than the record here, he could save some time and take the top spot. Level 7 began, and Kelvin was hitting everything. Good driving, good out-of-bounds setups. He was in position to pull ahead of the record. Then... Man, I was thinking pixel off. He hit an invisible wall while out of bounds. The waist blew up, and it was all over. Just one tiny mistake in level 7 can completely destroy your run. But Kelvin was still feeling it. A short while later, he managed a nearly identical pace, about 10 seconds behind the world record going into level 7. Once again, with fast execution, he'd be able to pull ahead. First step, make it out of bounds for 7-2. No problem. Now, avoid hitting the invisible
Bro, can I please just do the last fucking shit?
So far, so good.
It's literally the easiest part.
Next up was 7-4 out of bounds.
That's good.
He made it. Pressure was mounting. Then 7-5 out of bounds.
That sucks.
He blew up the waist again. Too much speed while backing up. World record was dead, but maybe he could still get a small personal best, as long as he didn't blow up the waist again. This was becoming a pattern for Kelvin. He was getting runs to level 7 just like any record contender, but time and time again, something went wrong to kill it. It's tough when the game's hardest level is right at the end, but it's what you have to overcome if you want the record. On January 22nd, Kelvin found himself in a familiar spot, a few seconds behind the record, one level to go. And this time, it all went well. He didn't blow up the waist, he didn't miss any out of bounds, he played a clean level 7, but he still missed the record. Kelvin just wasn't quite aggressive enough through the level. He just wanted to get through it and take a new personal best, so he did. Now, all three top contenders had a 118, and they were all trying to break through. A day later, it was Liquid Wi-Fi's turn for a chance at the record. He exited level 4 with a 15-second deficit, but as we know, there's time to save over the record's level 5. Liquid
Died to that shit 5 times.
Baby van strat, the armored truck strat, and everything else. Now, instead of being behind, he had a 20-second lead over the record.
Well, there's like potential.
Once again, this was going to come down to level 7. First up, 7-2.
Fuck. This is so
Now had a
difficult, bro.
30-second lead. Next up, 7-4.
I only just cleared the barrier.
It worked. Liquid was still 30 seconds ahead of the record. Now, he had to get 7-5.
It's fine. As long as I get it next time, it's okay.
That hurt. His lead was back down to 20 seconds. Still in there, as long as he could get 7-6.
Probably dead.
Ouch. Liquid had to get a backup, and he lost another 17 seconds. But his skill left him with a small lead. And with a clean 7-7, it was just enough to take the world record back from Homer of Steel. 118.41. Liquid was back on top, where he'd been for so many years. Homer of Steel had briefly taken it, and Kelvin put up a good fight too. But at the end of the day, Liquid was still too good to be stopped. So, how did our other competitors respond? Well, Homer of Steel kept going. He was determined to not be a one and done, to prove that he belonged on top of the leaderboard. But even Liquid Wi-Fi was always a tall order. I mean, this was the same guy who set 45 records in a row. Sure, Homer of Steel beat him once, but now he was back in second place. The big question was, did he have what it took to beat him again? Well, here's a good benchmark. Liquid's record had a 110 flat split going into level 7. If Homer of Steel could be close to that, he could save time over the level 7 mistakes and beat the world record. So somewhere in the 110s was a good time to shoot. And on the very next day after Liquid's record, Homer of Steel had a run make it past level 6. His split was 109.12. It was a dream run. Homer of Steel had gotten everything. The destruction missions, all the different tricks, everything. Virtually no mistakes. This was somehow on pace for a 117. Chat was losing their minds. Even Kelvin was there, and he couldn't believe what he was watching.
Why am I so bad? Like, honestly, why is this taking forever?
I hate this game. I want to cry.
Fucking hell, this is actually so annoying.
That's 8 times he blew up the waist. He just couldn't do it. And the best pace the game had ever seen was gone. The 117 dream was dead. But in speedrunning, you can't dwell on your mistakes. You have to pick yourself up and keep trying. That's exactly what Homer of Steel did. And a few days later, he had another good run. He had a lead over the record going into level 5, then hit the baby van strat. Things were looking good. But then, a complete debacle happened in 5-5. He managed to get his car stuck on a slant midway into the mission. The car wasn't budging, he wasn't able to get back inside. So to wedge it free, he had to go get another car and repeatedly hit it to try and dislodge it. It eventually worked and he was able to proceed with the mission, but not before losing a full 30 seconds. This was a bizarre time loss, but here's the crazy part. Homer of Steel made it to level 7, hit all the out of bounds, and still set a massive new world record. 118.11, beating Liquid by half a minute. If he hadn't had the 5-5 time loss, this run would have been well into the 117s. Homer of Steel had turned into a monster. His competitors weren't able to get paces like this. He'd pulled away from both of them. And now, with its possibility being firmly established, Homer of Steel set his eyes on a new goal. He wanted the
Fucking
first
God.
117 hit and run history. The blueprint was simple. Just duplicate the last record, but with a cleaner 5-5. And 6 days later, that's exactly what Homer of Steel did. He had a small lead into level 5, got the big time save in 5-5, and maintained from there to the end. 117.41. The first 117
Why do I
ever,
fucking do
and
this
a
shit?
full minute ahead of second place. Homer of Steel hadn't just won the world record battle, he'd completely run away with it. These were times that his competitors weren't even approaching. How had he gotten so good? Well, it was a lot of little things adding up. He was just a little bit faster at executing the hard tricks. His driving was just a little bit cleaner. Perhaps he saved 1 second on average per mission. Well, across 50 missions, that starts to add up. And that's why he was able to save so much more time. Even though Liquid had several years of head start, Homer of Steel had come along and surpassed him. So now, things were settled. And instead of playing all story missions, the top competitors moved to play the game's other categories, like 100%.
Thank you.
Wi-Fi
Oh
had
my
been able to
days.
hold off Homer of Steel.
This shit took. Why did that take longer than I thought it would, bro? That took so long.
Able to cash for 117.
Oh, well.
But once again, there's someone we're forgetting about.
Can I...
Build a website you love with Wix. For your words, create your brand, your opportunity, your breakthrough. Wix.
Kelvin had still never gotten the world record, and it wasn't for lack of trying. He'd had more than his share of runs into level 7, but they hadn't panned out, and now that the record was down to a 117, he remained in a fairly distant 3rd place. But maybe now that his two competitors were distracted, this was his chance to make a move. On June 16th, Kelvin got a 118.38, just beating out Liquid for 2nd place. And the very next day, he got on another run. Kelvin was deadlocked with the record into level 3. He lost some time in 3-5 when Snake's car jumped the bridge before dropping the last item, making him have to backtrack. He also lost a bit on the second cola truck.
I'm so
before
fucking
seventh.
good. I'm so good, bro. I'm so
Kelvin was
good.
now
I'm so
half
good.
a
I'm so good.
minute behind the record.
I did it once. I
But
can
from
do it
there,
again.
He kept it remarkably close.
For some reason the stop there isn't working, so I try and find out what that is.
All just like
So
the record.
let me just
Finally,
go in practice
he made
mode.
it to level 7, and he nailed all the out of bounds. setups than the world record.
Let me see what I have to do to the
The
star
run
pulls.
finished as a 118.07. The only difference between his run and Homer of Steel's were unforced errors in levels 3 and 4. But beyond that, his execution was just as fast, even faster in level 7. After several months of trying, Kelvin was once again
Let
on
me
a
change
collision
that
course
then.
with the record. One more improvement without the big mistakes, and he would finally reach the top of the mountain. But it was all a mirage, because Homer of Steel saw what was happening, and he wanted to stop it. So he began doing attempts again, and a few days later, he did this. Homer of Steel had somehow squeezed another minute out of the run. Virtually the only slowdown was missing the Curator destruction in 5-7. He got a quick backup and lost 10 seconds. Other than that, it's a familiar story.
Bro, can I
He
just...
simply nailed
Fucking
everything,
hell.
hitting trick after trick throughout the game. He now had a 116 when no one else in the world had a 117. What Homer of Steel has done to the hit-and-run speedrun is nothing short of remarkable. Compared to where the run was just a year ago, he's elevated nearly everything. He's brought the record down by 2 full minutes with essentially nothing new. He's just pulling time out of thin air, finding tiny optimizations to play better and better. This is well illustrated through the sum of best gap. A player's sum of best is adding up all their gold splits, their 50 fastest individual splits. During the 118 era, the gap between the record and his sum of best segments was 4 minutes. But now, Homer of Steel has shaved a full minute off that gap. His execution in runs has just gotten that good. Can other runners catch up to him? Well, in the months since, both Liquid Wi-Fi and Kelvin have set new personal bests. But they both remain more than a minute off the record. They're more competitive with Homer of Steel in categories like 100%, but he seems to have a stranglehold on all story missions. That being said, we've seen this before in The Simpsons Hit and Run. Someone seems so far ahead, surely there's no way anyone will catch up. But it never lasts forever. Someday, someone will dethrone Homer of Steel. And as it so often does, history will repeat itself. Thanks for watching. For a behind-the-scenes look at how I made this video and storylines that I couldn't include, join my Patreon page. I only charge when I upload a video. Thanks. With decent odds to get the record, and beyond them was a mix of prior record holders and newer contenders. Their personal bests ranged from Zach's 227 down to a 233, but all of them knew that they had a serious chance to move up on the leaderboard. Let the world record attempts begin. Zach and E Roadhouse may have been in the best positions to lower the record, but 4th place runner Bricko got the first good chance.
I'm gonna end stream now. I'm gonna upload my AQ 100%.